In February, about 1,000 years ago, we were making a documentary about New Orleans music. We paused in our interviews for Mardi Gras. And then came the Ash Wednesday that wouldn't end. The quiet is very strange. Normally this weekend, we'd be welcoming tens of thousands of visitors for Jazz Fest. Now the streets are like locations for a post-apocalypse movie, which I suppose this is. WWOZ is taking a little of the sting out with a Fest in Place marathon, recordings from the station's archived Jazz Fest shows. They've even made a schedule with cubes. But no, it's not the same. Not even with Little Queenie's post-Katrina set followed by Irma on Friday night. It's not just that we, like our out-of-town friends, will be missing our favorite acts, our favorite dishes, our personal traditions of meeting up with friends at a particular spot and time. And it's not just the economic silver lining the city gets every spring, though we will definitely miss that as well. The truth is, despite all of our bitching, we miss you. We miss hosting you. We miss the opportunity to bring out our best, whether it's at the fairgrounds or in some backyard across town. We really enjoy showing y'all a good time. And yes, having you here is a big part of our economy. 1/6 of the city's budget comes from the tax on your hotel rooms. We'll dig deeper into that. But first, a look at last week's news. Louis Armstrong International Airport, the front door that a lot of our visitors use, reports the number of passengers is down an astounding 97% compared to the same period last year. They say that's similar to drops at other airports. But sadly, one area in which we are beating most other cities is the number of TSA agents testing positive for the virus. In news of former New Orleanians, the Ruth's Chris Steaks chain, which permanently relocated from the city to Orlando, Florida days after Katrina, was revealed to have received $20 million in federal stimulus funds meant for small businesses. After being named as the poster child for inappropriate bailouts in several national stories, the company pulled a quick Shake Shack turnaround and returned the money on Thursday. Bless their hearts. The Baton Rouge area pastor we told you about last week has been arrested for trying to back a church bus over a protester, allegedly. And that's his 15 seconds of fame from us this week. In the good news column, the governor appears to be serious about increasing testing as a measure for how businesses might reopen in the state. This week, the State Department of Health and others partnered to open a walk-up testing station at Xavier University. The results, hopefully, will give us a clearer picture of the virus's spread in the surrounding neighborhoods of Gert Town and Mid-City. Around the corner from the Xavier testing site is about where the line began for Wednesday's weekly pop-up food pantry sponsored by Second Harvest and Goodwill. The line of cars stretched a mile from Carrollton Avenue below Washington to Tulane and Jeff Davis. Second Harvest is mounting several remote pantries around the region, and even more than usual, they need your donations now if you're in a position to give. We know we're always harping on this, and we will continue to do so. But whatever the day, if we even know anymore, the lead story always breaks at noon. As of midday Sunday, the state was reporting 26,773 positive cases, with 1,700 patients hospitalized and 268 on ventilators. Statewide, 1,670 people have died from the virus, with about a quarter of those still coming from New Orleans. As we mentioned earlier, hospitality, putting a roof over a stranger's head, is an essential part of New Orleans' economy. Hotel developers, often large international corporations, have hopes for even more growth here. In recent years, there's been a boom in hotel building, with the New Orleans Convention Center at ground zero. At the foot of Canal Street, the landmark International Trade Mart is being transformed into the new Four Seasons Hotel, as cranes and scaffolding surround the iconic Top of the Mart Lounge, where locals and visitors once spun high above the river at 1 revolution per hour. Across the way, Harrah's has received license from the state to add a 34-story tower addition to its casino hotel complex. Moving down the convention corridor, you've got the Hilton, the Omni, the Mercantile, another Hilton, the Marriott, another Hilton, another Marriott, a Hyatt, yet another Hilton, and a Hampton Inn. The boom is roaring downtown. And as the Hard Rock Hotel collapse illustrated, the urge to get in on the gold rush can have terrible consequences. Even more troubling, for developers, the boom may simply be unsustainable. We're getting fewer of the large sports events and mega conventions. Though hotel bookings were up before the COVID-19 hit, room rates have been flat for a while, suggesting that we may have enough places to lay one's head. Which brings us to the far end of the convention center, still being held in readiness as an overflow hospital facility. Just beyond the existing hall is an open field, mostly used as a parking lot or truck marshaling yard. But the convention center's management envisions it as the site of a headquarters hotel, developed with the Omni chain and others, as an upriver anchor to a new pedestrian mall and entertainment district, a meta version of the 1984 World's Fair, where the convention center began. The project is expected to cost over $1 billion, with taxpayers coming up with just about half. Why? And particularly, why now? Even before all of this, we had an adequate supply for the lean booked years ahead. Now, with tens of thousands of hospitality workers idled, could the center's massive reserve of tax revenues be put to better use? These are the questions being asked by a coalition of local activists, including Local 406 of the International Union of Operating Engineers. Specifically, they are demanding that $100 million of the convention center's accrued tax reserves be used as an emergency relief fund for the hospitality workers who generated those tax dollars. Convention Center's management's initial response was silence, but then another voice entered the discussion this week. The Communication Workers of America is slated to hold their 2021 convention in New Orleans, in what we all hope will be a more normal time. But the CWA has a clause in their contract which allows them to cancel if there's an ongoing labor dispute, which the union seems inclined to believe this is. There's plenty of time between now and next summer to resolve this particular dispute, but the pandemic has laid bare questions which we've been avoiding. How many hotels is enough? How much should a city rely on tourism and visitors for its survival? And what do cities, developers, and hospitality corporations owe the people who actually make their grandiose dreams work? Certainly more than we can cover in a week. But it looks like we might have a while to think about it. Whatever the future of the city's hotel industry, one thing won't change. We love having you here, and we can't wait to see you again. Until next time, we wish you good health and good friends.